Yes lads, JOEBILINE here, and it's a video a lot of you have been waiting for on Twitter. What went wrong with FIFA Mobile Season 2 in your opinion? Now there's been, if we just go back here, because I went through this way, 306 comments. And there's a lot to talk about, so I'm straight up saying it right now. There's probably going to be more than one point part. We're not going to get through it all, but we'll pick up, see how we're going, and I'll try and not make this more than, like, say, 15. Maybe there'll be a few parts. I have got some water though, so I'm in here for the long haul, so I'm prepared. So, wetting my moustache. Obviously, yeah, Chad, you're not wrong. 280. When they want to, let's have a look. Start off, KB. When they want to pay to play, it's quite obvious. They ruined what was an amazing game just to put some more money. If they made the next game simulated FIFA 15 and took out some of the pay to play, they will win fans back. I mean, yes, it's definitely pay to win, pay to play. Nearly all mobile games are, to be fair. But Season 1 was, so this is more about what went wrong with Season 2. In terms of why it went better and why it didn't. If in terms of what areas want better than Season 1. They've got more fans now playing than what they had during FIFA 15 new season, so winning fans back. They've got millions more people playing than when it was FIFA 15 new season, so there's a lot more people playing now. But like I say, I'm just a player. I didn't play the old games, I didn't like them. It was just like a mobile, it was a mobile version of the consoles games, and that's not what I'm looking for in a mobile game. I like it to be short and snappy. So yeah, they've got more people playing now. They've got more people playing. They're making more money under this format. Obviously, they're making more money because it's more money intense. But yeah, let's have a look. So the better and easy question truly is what went right. Well, yeah, Ruben, gap between free to play and play to play. Yeah, the gap this year has been massive. Like last year, it was a couple overalls. People could keep up to an extent. This year, the gap between the very top and the dedicated but not much spenders has been massive. Like having, like I was saying in the other video, having training and rank ups and stuff is a double-edged sword. Obviously rank ups is just is artificial overalls just to keep the game going longer and to make you want to achieve a higher rating once your players get to 120. And to be fair, for most of the players now, before 120 they've already reached the max stats they can have and not any higher. Rank ups doesn't affect gameplay in any way. All it affects is how many chances you get against your opponent. And obviously the rank ups and stuff is purely created there just to keep you chasing something rather than just going to 120 on day one, which we saw some do. They spend a lot. So there has been that massive gap this year. They tried at the start, it wasn't too bad because they made it so last year, so like a -5 overall difference is about the same as a -1 overall difference, -2 overall difference in FIFA Season 1. But yeah, as the year's gone, it's just got massive. Fortnite's shown that business can easily achieve without giving advantage to they spend. I agree in some aspects, but Fortnite are a different company. It's a free-to-play game, and it's a shooter. Sports games, I feel, will always have that element of pay, because it's cards to unlock. If we were having to pay to have, well, I suppose at the start of the year, kits came in bundles, so kits are paid items. But I suppose if it's kits, stadiums, boots, how much money are they going to make if you're paying for boots and kits and stadiums? And then how do you get the players? Do you have to earn them through playing and then you don't get money? I don't know. With sports, it's a tricky one. I agree. They could definitely be more lenient, but sadly, while they're making the money, it's not going to change. And I've always said, I feel it's always best to work out what you can afford, and if you can enjoy the game based on what you can afford, carry on, and if not, don't, because there's no point playing something that you don't enjoy, which is why earlier in the year I stopped playing, more or less. Like I stopped logging in and spending more time on it just because I wasn't enjoying it as much. It just felt the same repetition. And it just got to the stage where I wasn't enjoying it, so I took a break, playing it periodically and playing other games. I've been playing Fortnite more. Some events required far too much of a grind and wasn't found those you don't have a lot of time spent all day grinding through the events. That's the point though, is that they did it, and I understand where they were coming from that aspect, is that there are different tiers of rewards available depending on how much you were willing to grind. So like, why, to be fair, why should the top rewards be given out easily. If there's people who are willing to grind, then albeit let them have the top rewards. If someone's willing to put more effort in than me, let them. The game needs to focus more on a skill level. Yeah, I do think the game should be more skill based, which I think they tried to do this year by introducing like overall caps on like weekend tournament and stuff, by having that like 90 overall limit. They did try to incorporate skill, I feel, that way, because obviously at the start when weekend tournament was any team, it was just a bit like, well, it was just the same as usual, same as versus attack seasons. So I do think they tried to do that until they go back to the stage where they are actually putting PvP back into the game in terms of player versus player. There'll probably still always be that chance thing because it works, and it's the easiest way to get people to spend, whether we agree with it or not. But I don't know, it's a complicated one, but it's not, it's simple. Once they know they've got enough people playing, because the reason obviously they got rid of peer-to-peer play PvP is because most people who wanted to do it, well, it wasn't used much in the old games of mobile. Not actually that many people were playing against each other. It was a lower used feature, which is why they realised they could get rid of it, because people weren't using it that much. And I think that's also due to connection from people trying to play across the world from each other. Obviously they've been trialling it in the Chinese version, and I guess that China's massive, but it's all China connection to connection, so I guess it's easier that way for them. Maybe they'll bring it back in the future. Maybe that's why China's had it, to trial it first and we'll get it. We'll see. But yeah, I do think having it more be requirement of skill is better. It's just how do you implement it into the current system. I guess it worked with weekend tournament, having the 90 max, and even like retro now they've done it. Communicate, yeah, I've said this communication has been abysmal. Tom and AMT are on Twitter, but it's not really their job. They're producers, they're developers. It's not their job to be on Twitter. It's not in their job role. They're not a community. They're not part of the community side of the game. They're not marketing. They're developers. They're producers. They're working on the game. So they come on to let us all know, and that's cool and appreciated because they're actually working on the game in aspects of it, so they can let us know. But there's just been no communication from EA this year in terms of an actual community role. The guy who replaced Marco, for whatever reason, it wasn't his job to have to be doing tweets on Twitter and stuff. Maybe they decided that, I can only assume, and it upsets me, because I feel like having community is always important, especially for people looking from the outside to check what people online, what the game's like. You may check what their Twitter's like and see how much they're responding and stuff. And there's been none. It wasn't his role. I can only assume the fact that they have like 2 to 3 million daily players, and what their Twitter account last time I looked has like 150,000 following. Maybe they just decided that the community, the vocal community on social media was such a smaller percentage of the game that they didn't care, which upsets me because I've tried. And this year it's just not been the same community wise. Marco, people, he had a way of words, didn't he, Marco? But he kept us updated. Even if you didn't like him, he kept us updated. I got on with him. I liked him. He was to the point, and he played the game, so he knew what he was talking about with the game. So that was good. I don't get it. He's still in the game. He's just Bitty. Todd he's like the senior producer, creative director, or whatever of the game. He's still here. He's just not on Twitter. He's still in charge of everything, and everything that happens with the game goes through him. People were saying like, oh, now Todd's not on Twitter anymore, it's gone shit. He's still in charge, he's still running it. Nothing's changed with him, if he's here or not. Stop D. Sets. Yeah, Sets season 1, and obviously they got rid of Sets because they thought it was confusing for non-FIFA fans. Obviously Sets are something that like Madden has, and they tried to simplify it by just going for like tokens and currency this year, which I kind of like it without seeing the sets. But it added to the trading aspect if you was having to get sets and collect it, and trophies and different players to put into the sets rather than just collect one token currency. And yeah, there's more coin packs. It's grinding, yeah, which is fine, but a lot of the time it doesn't feel worth it. Also, I do leveling, but feel like being able to level every card to the same level takes away from it when a card drop. yeah, that's for me. Like, apart from the design of new cards is the only thing that makes me think, do I care or not? And that's why I've said so many times, it's a double-edged sword in terms of, is training, leveling, is it good or not? Because on one hand, you love a player, you love a team, you can take that team up as high as you want. But on the other hand, it means you care less and less about the promo. If you don't care about card designs, then unless a player you like's in a promo, you don't care. And you don't need to, because you can level your players you've already got and focus on them. So it's very much a double-edged sword. Maybe they change it so you can level up a little bit, but then what's the point? Flash Freeze, yeah, they were good. I do remember at the time they were going like, they wanted to treat Flash Freeze, well, it was a Christmas event, it was at Christmas. And at for most people, well, of the Western world, shall I say, like, from where I'm from in America, obviously I know a lot of you are worldwide, so maybe you don't celebrate Christmas. But obviously for the Western world, and especially where EA are located, Christmas is the time of the year where gifts are given, and it's the time of the year where you get presents, and they kind of wanted to create that feeling with it being really generous. It's Christmas. The problem with it with the game is that Christmas is too early in the game's life cycle, I feel, for that to work. So you get a really big event for Christmas, but because it's so early in the game's life cycle, like a month or two into the game, you haven't really, you then get all these events afterwards, you're like, well, why aren't they as good as that? And because it's too early. Say Christmas happened later in the game cycle, then you'd appreciate it a lot more. You'd be like, well, it's Christmas. But with it being like the first major event we had, it's like, because Flash and Thanksgiving were small, but it was a major game. It was our first major event, and it was magical. At the time, overalls were low, so it was easy to increase quicker. So there is that aspect to look into it from that side. So it was one, that's lots of wrong. EA wasn't greedy enough. They bring Team Elite Prestige Treasure Hunt, which helped lots. Free to play should have a lot more events. Retro, they couldn't make enough money from us. Yeah, like I say, Batty hasn't left. He's still in charge of everything. Bateson, because yeah, they stopped grants like when Bateson stopped uploading. Well, it wasn't because of that. He stopped for just got bored, and then Grant stopped. So hey, don't matter. Leagues are bored. Yeah, they haven't done anything with League versus League. It was really weird because obviously they brought in new League versus League. They brought in the League versus League restructure and added in fame points and stuff to sort out people just camping with lower overalls in League. But they haven't done anything all year. So all we've had all year is that alley that most has got in like the first month. And that brings on to like Team Hero, scouting and stuff. They didn't refresh them halfway into the year like they did last year. I think that's probably due to them working on the World Cup mode, so they didn't have time to work on the other stuff. Because as far as EA teams go, they are a relatively small team. So I reckon it probably was due to that. Some fascinating, but need to make it possible to grind the very best rewards. World Cup is good for this, but at the same time, not many events require hard grinding. I think some of the activities we're having League vs League Fuss to do with a few hours play, easy day, which is so hard for players to maintain. We need more secure services every time we see a cheat or a person benefit glitches hurt someone in the game. But yeah, World Cup event was. Yeah, I feel EA need to be more confident at times that people they can, because I feel like they're in this mode where they think they need to make things that are only achievable by paying, and they don't trust it that if you could grind it, that people wouldn't then spend. I feel like at EA side and with FIFA and all the licensing, and the FIFA side, I think people will spend even if the very top rewards are grindable if somebody wants to put that effort in. But obviously there are things that are unattainable and do require payment. So it would be nice if they had more trust and tried out and said, okay, you can, if you want to grind, you can. Maybe like look at Prestige, who was able to get Roberto Carlos. This retro now, which they've introduced Thursday, I'm recording this Thursday, the arcade mode. If you grind them games in the week, you can get a prime icon. Have faith, basically. Have faith that you can still make money. Maybe try it with events, see how it goes, and if not, then yeah, revert back. from season 3 is a good. I just want season 3 to hurry up, see how it goes on, and just hope that they actually have faith, deliver. Yeah, there's been a few bugs. Most of them have been sorted. I feel like people get caught up at too many times, but for the glitches, because only a few were affected. People, like, with the millions of people playing the game, it's only a handful who find these bugs on Reddit, on Discord, on YouTube. They don't get that widespread fun. It doesn't really affect the game too much. But when you're seeing it, if you're on social media all the time, then it does feel like more got out. But it's quite small in the grand scheme of things. But absolutely, bugs. There's been it feels like there's a bug or a glitch. It feels, well, not necessarily major ones, but it feels like there's a bug every single week. Whenever there's a new event, there's always seems to be something wrong with it. Since the start of the year, QA testing needs to be better. There's just not enough QA testing. Well, maybe there is. Maybe I know they work hard and they catch a lot of bugs, but there's always one that sneaks out, and most of the time it's not much. It's just more of an inconvenience. But then every so often, something major happens. A major bug happens, and it just brings people's morale down. It's annoying. It's definitely annoying. It's frustrating. And they need to get better at bug testing, especially when it's ones that can have quite an impact. But yeah, that's the main two things I'll say time and time again. The main two things that need to have been better and what's gone wrong is the amount of bugs and the lack of communications. It's just, and them two hand in hand go quite far. And now working in business-like conditions myself in my job, obviously you don't want to announce every bad thing that goes wrong, because why make people aware that aren't aware? But that's the thing as well, I guess. When a bug does happen, you don't announce every bug you make if they're any minor and not many people know, because, well, why? Why make more people aware it's there when you've already fixed it? No, I don't want to stop the screen recording, although we are about to end part 1. Communications and bugs are the main two things that have got me down this year, because no communication whatsoever, and just too many bugs, and it's just I've stopped caring, to be honest. There's been that many bugs this year, I've just stopped caring. It's like, I know there's going to be a bug, so why let it affect me? I know it's going to be a bug, so I play on, and I'm like, I'll just expect a bug. Play expecting bugs, and then it doesn't get you annoyed. I feel like some people get way too annoyed at a mobile. It's just a mobile game. I feel like some people get way too annoyed at it. And it's definitely got me annoyed at times. But now I just expect it. You see, I just expect it. And you'll enjoy yourself a lot more if you just anticipate and expect it and just play around it. But we're going to end part 1 there. So, do you like enjoyed it? Subscribe if you're new here. Come tune in for part 2 when it's out. And I'll see you all later. Peace.
But behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.